It is PFL middleweight and I guess soon to be PFL light heavyweight, Derek Brunson. I just wondered, Derek, does that still sound weird? I mean, it's all new, right? I mean, you've been in the UFC for so long. To hear PFL attached to your name, is that still a little bit weird?
Nah, I'm a guy that can move on real quick. So, yeah, definitely not weird to me. It's another opportunity, another venture, another goal. I feel rejuvenated, and it's something for me to really look forward to.
No doubt about it. So tell me how this all came about, Derek, because we were all surprised, right? I mean, you're in the rankings, you got a big fight coming up, and then all of a sudden things change. So how did this all come together? Was this a plan you were working on? Was it a unique opportunity? How did it come about?
Yeah, I don't know, man. It just, I guess it got a little tough for me. The UFC, the day-to-day grind was a little bit old to me. I just wasn't getting up for these fights. I was on two big streaks throughout my whole career, and I didn't get my title shot. And I know MMA, it's a lot about timing in the sport also. But yeah, it just got kind of tough for me to get up for these fights. So yeah, we was just looking for other options, and we found PFL.
That's awesome, man. We'll talk about the PFL in a second, but I guess I'll just ask you to reflect, right? Like you said, I mean, 11 years in the UFC, like that's not easy, man. You're talking about 21 fights. I know you said you didn't get the title, but you were always in big fights, man. You were always facing the big names. You were always in relevant fights. So, I mean, when you look back on it, how do you feel about like your whole body of work and what you did with the UFC?
I think my body of work with the UFC was solid, but not complete. Um, I think when I first started out, a lot of people had me like top five, and champion was my ceiling. And I've reached top five. I think the lowest I was ranked was number three. Um, so again, for me, I think it was solid but not complete, not what I wanted to do. Uh, but the UFC now and back four is two different things. Like a lot of these guys couldn't make it in the old UFC in terms of only the best fought there. Um, Man, you had to fight like super tough competition. Like my second fight was against Yoel Romero, who was a silver medalist in the Olympics, and we seen what he went on to do. So like guys aren't fighting that. Like you have guys going a 9-fight winning streak, and they fought no one really of any like crazy skill set per se. So yeah, I'm okay with my career in the UFC, but I feel like definitely I could have done more.
That's a great way to say it, man. At least you're proud of it. Like you said, you did a lot that most people won't. Now you're going on to the next phase, and you're wasting no time, right? You're getting to action right away after this announcement. Was that their idea to like, hey, let's just get you on this pay-per-view, or were you like, let me fight as soon as possible? How did that come together?
Yeah, we was looking to fight pretty soon, and I guess it was an opportunity for them to like, spark the card a little bit. And they presented it to me. I was like, yeah, let's do it. I guess I'm not the type of guy that, run from tough fights or pretty good fights. So yeah, this was one of them, and I was all about it.
I dig it, man. Well, it's November 24th. It's the PFL World Championship in Washington, D.C. It's Ray Cooper as the opponent. I guess tell me what you know about Ray. And I'm curious. I mean, Derek, I know you watch fights. You break fights down. You're an expert on it. But, sometimes it's tough when it's another promotion, right? Like maybe you're not catching their stuff. So how familiar are you with Ray and what do you know about him? Or are you having to educate yourself on him real quick?
No, I knew who Ray Cooper was. It's funny. I bet against him against the it was the last $1 million tournament. The guy had a win over him, and the guy was winning the whole fight, and then Ray knocked him out in the third round after he was like wobbled. So yeah, I'm very familiar with him. Like I said, I placed a bet against him, and he lost me some money. So we have to recoup some of that.
So, I was gonna say, so that makes it personal, right? He owes you something.
A little personal.
Now you're like all those jerk fans that hit fighters up on Twitter and say they lost money, except that you're gonna actually get in the cage with them. You know what I mean?
For real, yeah. Full circle.
I love it. All right, so listen, that'll be a big one. It's a big opportunity, but again, it all leads to really next season. I imagine. Light heavyweight is what we're hearing. I guess give me your thoughts on that because I was looking at it. Derek, you haven't had 4 fights in a year since 2011. Man, you got to win 4 to get that $1 million. So what's your thought on potentially fighting that much in a year?
Again, it's the motivation. When you're in the UFC, you got to kind of like play the political game. You got to kind of like, I'm not going to take this fight because I want to wait to get my title shot. You got to kind of play that game. You got to play the game of, hey, I'm not going to fight that guy because he's not going to get me anywhere. But with PFL, you don't have to do that. You can go in and fight, so that make a difference in, I'm not jockeying for position. I'm just going out there, winning fights and doing what I need to do. And then I can get to what I'm trying to get. The ultimate goal is winning the tournament.
And I guess, light heavyweight, does that make the opportunity easier for you that you don't have to cut down to 85 over and over and over throughout the year?
Yeah, for sure. I think I definitely feel good at 205, not cutting all that weight. So I'll be fresher. My body won't be depleted and I won't be like fading out there. So it's just a combination of things. I think that's definitely going to help my performance overall.
No doubt. Well, we're excited to see it. I guess, Derek, I'll ask you this. Like I said, this new phase of your career, you said it's not a problem to move on. What do you see the goal in this? I was a little shocked to realize you're turning 40 in January, which just goes to show how long we've been covering your career, man. But what is the goal here? Is this one and done? Let's try to cash this million, or is this just like, like I said, you're fighting at the top of the game. So is this, let's just see how it goes, and maybe we got a few years left. Like, how do you see this?
Yeah, I added new aspects to my training regimen in terms of like I haven't did road work in like 5 or 6 years just because from all the wrestling it kind of takes a toll on your knees. But like I added that back. I just felt like I was missing that pace in these top level fights. Like there's no question, you can go and watch my previous fights. I'm dominating the first round and I just kind of fade. It's almost like I'm giving away fights, so I attribute that to lack of road work. And whenever I'm getting that road work, it feels like I'm in a fight and I'm in them late rounds. I'm able to push through that. So I feel like it's going to be really good in like carrying over into a fight. So I'm really excited about it.
I love it, man. Well, you can hear the passion back in your voice. Because I'll be honest, it did feel like maybe, the passion was kind of gone some of the last couple of fights. Like maybe you were just going out there. Is that how you feel as well, that now that passion is back?
Yeah, for sure. It's like you go out here, you defend your ranking, you drop down in the rankings, you finish guys, and you're like, okay, if I win this, kind of I'm next for the title. There's nobody else, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, we'll fight this title eliminator. It's like, oh, here we go again. Whereas look at Sean Strickland, he got the opportunity. When he got the opportunity, he was ranked number 7. When he fought Izzy, he was ranked number 5. But he got the opportunity, he made the most of it. If you don't get the opportunity, I don't know. It's super motivating. I guarantee whenever he got the notice or the call, he probably went straight to the mountains and ran 10 miles or something like that. You know what I mean? It's just that type of stuff does that for you. And here's my biggest thing, and probably the last thing with this is that if the fans say, oh, Derek, you already lost to Izzy, you're ranked number 3 on a 5-fight winning streak, you got to fight a title eliminator, or Izzy has to fight somebody else. Well, cool. If Izzy and Pereira fought and Pereira knocks Izzy out, technically you're saying that he already beat him, so he don't deserve a title shot. It goes the same way, man. I just think it has to be a little bit more merit. And, guys on the winning streak, they're ranked low, putting in work, definitely got to give them their shot.
I love it. Well said. Well, that's what the PFL brings to the table, right? I mean, there's no politics in the matchmaking. You just got to go out there and win the fights. You win the fights, you get to the final. So we look forward to seeing that next year. But first up is going to be Ray Cooper. What are we expecting to see in this? Is this going to be? As you said, man, this guy's got heavy hands. He can come from behind late. So are we expecting some fireworks in this? Are you expecting to come out and dominate in this first fight in the PFL? What do you think we see?
I expect to come out and dominate. I don't expect no fireworks unless I'm causing them. So yeah, I expect to come out and dominate. I'm going to put in the work, and that's all I'm seeing. And I'm going to have to be proven wrong if I'm not right, and that's it.
I love it. Well said. Derek, appreciate the time as always. It's been an honor to cover UFC career. Now we'll cover the PFL career as well, starting on November 24th.
Thank you. See you out there.